Hello, hello, hello there, everyone. It's Patricia Hayes here with your Coffee Time Career Chat Authentic Networking Edition. So happy to be here with you today as we branch out onto a new topic in terms of networking and relationship building. And this is one that I've been thinking about for some time now over the course of the last year, but had not really gotten into it as I planned. So here's how we're going to start it. And it's diversity in your network and diversifying your network is what we're going to be talking about for the next, 3 to 4 weeks, maybe, in different terms. First, laying out why it matters, what it looks like, those types of things. And then we're going to work into the work that's required to make that happen. And then ultimately the strategies that will need to be utilized in order to maintain a diverse network down through the years in order to maintain a strong growth atmosphere, a strong growth mindset when it comes to your professional network. So here's the thing. This is a topic that I think is very rich and ready for today. And we are not going to cover everything in these 20-30 minute sessions over the next course of the next few weeks. So I want you to mark it on your calendars because come May, we will be putting out the Diversifying Your Network Masterclass. And I'm going to make sure to invite you and let you know when that happens. So just, put a little pin in it and wait for it. And so that you can get all the goodness at once. I'm looking at bringing in at least one speaker, I think, in order to help set the stage for it. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about this topic. And because I think that it's needed and it's necessary. And it's not just what people think about. I'm not really concerned about folks who are a little scared of the DEI conversations that are going on today, but we're talking about what's necessary if you really want to be professionally successful, if you really want to achieve your dreams, if you really want to get to the next level of your goals. Then one of the key things that you will have to do is diversify your network. Now, so what does this mean? I'm talking about diversity. Okay, so let's just lay it out there in its very basic terms. What does diversity mean? Especially what does diversity mean today, right? So we're talking about cultural diversity, racial, religious, sex and gender, sexual orientation, and ability, right? And so that has this huge gamut of things, including age, social class, political beliefs. So like all of those things kind of fall into the cultural aspect. And then we've got, like we said, ethnicity, race, national origin, all of those things. Now, you're like, why should I care about all of that? Because when you are entering the work world, as you should be already, that's what it looks like. It's not homogenous. It's not one size fits all. There is a big, giant world out there, and there's so much richness to be gained from other perspectives, from other thoughts, ideas, whatever. Just because someone doesn't think like you doesn't mean they're wrong. We can all learn from each other. And so if you are being conscientious about making sure that your network, your professional relationships do not all look like you, sound like you, come from the same social class, all of those things, then you are on the right step. Like you are on the right track. You are headed in the right direction for long-term success. Now, short-term, it could be working just fine for you. And as you get to certain levels of things, it may work just fine. But the bottom line is that even folks who get to, let's say, some of the upper echelons, and you can say, why does it matter for them? Well, we're not talking about billionaires here, but I bet you anything, even the billionaires have networks that do not look all the same. You would be surprised at who they are connected with and how. This is when this is those moments when you are watching some, I don't know, award show or some little blip about someone and they mention someone else that you're like, what? Like they're connected? It's that kind of moment, right? Don't make assumptions about who people know or how they're connected because you could be incredibly surprised. That term about 6 degrees of separation is really, really true. But if you don't even make the effort so that there are some multiple degrees between you, then you're going to have a problem. And this is where, the kid, I won't say toy, but kind of experience of the flat Stanley, and where, you can be able to fold, flat Stanley up and take them wherever you want in the world. But we're not flat Stanleys. We're multi-dimensional beings. And we need to be prepared to deal with other multidimensional beings or to be exposed to them and or to be able to both help and give to them and to be open to receiving, because that's a big deal. Some people will not be open to receiving from someone who doesn't look, sound, act like them. And that's a problem. And so this is kind of maybe the more difficult part of this conversation, but it's one that applies to everyone. I do not care what your racial background is. I do not care what your ethnicity is. I do not care what your social class is. I don't care about any of that. If you are not open to diversifying who you interact with, then you are deliberately limiting your potential. And if you're okay with that, then that's fine. And you don't have to listen to any more of these sessions because it's a waste of your time. However, if you do not want to limit your potential and you want to make sure that you are leaving yourself open to all of the opportunities that are out there for you, then I invite you to stick it out with me during these sessions to prepare to attend the masterclass when it's available. And let's have a great conversation about what this looks like. Okay, so we've got that, so we've got our basic definition of diversity, and then we'll start talking about what that means when it comes to applying it to developing and expanding our professional relationships. So the other thing is we need to make sure to identify the value. And here's the thing, personally and professionally, there's great value in having a diverse network and having diverse relationships, because when people have differing experiences and you cross-pollinate and share them, there's great potential for learning, for resource sharing, and for opportunities that may not be available to someone or that they may not even think about because they don't run in those circles, right? But when you're willing to share across with someone who doesn't look like, sound like, act like you, then that is rich, and it builds out this richness in your network, and you start laying a foundation for long-term growth, because people are like, man, that's fantastic. That was great how they contributed. I would love to introduce them to XYZ. Or, hey, we really need someone to come speak to our organization about a few things. Are you available? Okay, based on your experiences, based on your racial and ethnic identities, based on your experiences as a woman in the workplace. There's just a whole huge potential out there that's always existed, but having to break through it. Now, here's the thing, because particularly in the US, because we're much more insular just as a country, where we're not like in Europe where they're, within so many, thousands of miles, hundreds of miles, maybe even, you can come across tons of different people from different backgrounds and different countries and nationalities and all of that. Okay. So that's one of the things that's at play. What we have to remember, particularly if you are in the US, is that your experiences in the US do not look like the global world. Like, not even, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay. And so that's one of the things when you talk about nationality, that's one of those things to think about. Like, how can you reach out to others so that you can learn how to think more globally? Okay, especially if you're in certain fields. If there are certain fields and you're interested in doing more global outreach, if you're interested in doing international work, well, guess what? You gotta venture out there. You gotta have some more experiences. I know that one of those things that's going to be super valuable, and I'll use my daughter as an example. She's been involved in a ton of different things as a young person. And as a young Black female, she has traveled to Australia. Now, that is not something anyone's going to expect, right? Because, we have stereotypes and biases about people. And so when it comes up and when it presents itself, it's going to be like, wow, how did you have that experience as a 17-year-old, right? That fosters room for conversation and about her community service and about her experiences with Girl Scouts and how all of these other things and experiences can come from it, right? So that's why you can, have an interaction with someone that looks, like it's kind of vanilla. But when you start sharing in conversation and start digging a little deeper, you would be surprised at some of the opportunities, some of the resources that you can gain from someone who, again, doesn't look or sound like you. So, and we'll talk about that as we move along, about not making assumptions about the people that you interact with, because that plays into how you build out your professional network greatly. And it affects your ability to build trust with people as well. So we'll talk about that along the way. But the value in diversifying your network is just exponential, right? You cannot put a dollar value on it, because it will continue to give to you. All right. Those of you who know me, whatever, know that I have a pretty diverse, network. I've grown up in suburban schools. I've attended private and public universities. I've attended law school. I've worked in the government sector. I've worked in the nonprofit sector. I've worked as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. And here's the thing. I keep up with people all along the way, right? I make sure to try and nurture that. And so that means for me, as someone who's a little more mature and advanced in these relationship building experiences, that it actually takes a little more effort for me to make sure that I am still diversifying my network on a regular basis in order to grow. So what does it mean for me today with all of those years of experiences and different experiences? What does that mean for me in order to think about diversifying my network moving forward? Okay. And so for me, it's in different avenues, right? That I'm looking to work with and get to know better other entrepreneurs who are doing similar work, or not necessarily doing similar work, but have similar goals. Right? So we don't have to be doing the same things. I actually like talking to people who do different things, but we have the same goals. And so talking and sharing with them. If I'm looking at other things that I'm interested in doing, like speaking nationally and internationally. Well, that means I've got to up level and start engaging with some other people who are doing those things, right? If there aren't a lot of those types of people in my network right now, that means I have to stretch. I have to reach out and engage in organizations, with groups, with other people who are doing those types of things. Okay. So it grows and it develops as you grow and develop what your goals are, who you're looking to engage with, and remembering to keep a diversity lens on it so that it doesn't look like still dealing with a whole bunch of people like me. All right. So for me, that would mean is I don't want to deal with a bunch of just other lawyers or women who are coaches. Like that's my nexus right now. So don't get me wrong. That's my nexus, and they're extremely supportive and working for me greatly right now. But that's a launching pad to the next thing. Okay, that is okay. I'm working with and learning more from those types of folks as I grow and as they grow to the next level, so that we can share experiences, share relationships from other people, other organizations. And so with the idea of up-leveling all of us at the same time. Okay. The value in diversifying your network is just incredible. I just can't even begin to tell you what that looks like. I know that I will be able to travel the world just because I was able to reach out and was willing to reach out and interact with others. I now have personal contacts in Australia, unrelated to my daughter's trip, right? But because of a business group I was a part of and connecting with another female business owner in Australia, she invited me to come speak at one of her sessions, and I did. And guess what? Like, we're connected now. I'm looking forward to going to Australia someday to actually meet up in person. How about that, right? All of these different things. Not being afraid to get outside your bubble. And this is important. Why should you care? You should care about diversifying your network. I've been saying it already, because you care about your long-term growth and development as a person and as a professional. Okay, so, if you are, let's say, an engineer, you're perfectly happy with what you're doing right now. You really don't have any interest in getting too far outside your bubble and dealing with other engineers in a particular industry. Again, then this is not gonna be interesting to you. It's not gonna feed you because you're not ready or willing to engage in it. However, if you have goals as an engineer to own your own business, or to take on leadership roles in your organization, or to shift fields that you're working or industries that you're working in, guess what? Diversifying your network is going to be key. You're not going to learn about owning a business just sticking with your own little group of engineers. Okay? You're going to have to go talk to some other people who are not engineers. You're going to talk to some people who don't look like you, who don't sound like you, right? Who don't act like you. So get outside that bubble. Be willing and ready for those experiences. Are they going to be uncomfortable sometimes? Absolutely. Absolutely. I know that there are times when I'm uncomfortable, when I realize, and I'm in a group where I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is a different group of people I'm not used to running with. Guess what? Dig in. Let's go. That's fantastic. Okay? Because I can't get to being $1 million business owner if I'm only dealing with folks who are, happy working in a 6-figure job. Right? What do I have to do? I have to go where the $1 million business owners are. And I'm going to be uncomfortable along the way, but I have to step outside of my comfort zone and be willing to open myself to talk to other people because it will feed my long-term goals. This is why you should care. This is why you should care. So ultimately, the question for yourself is, do I really want to attain the goals that I've set for myself? And if the answer is yes, then the next question is my professional network diverse enough to help me get to those goals? That's the question, bottom line. And if the answer is no, or I don't know, then I invite you to stick with me along this journey as we continue this conversation. And we dig in a little bit, and you can learn a few more things about the work that's required to diversify your network, and then the strategies that you can implement to make it happen. Okay, that is it. I'm super excited about working with you on this topic, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I love developing new things. This is a new reach, and like I said, I'm going to take you along for the ride, and we're going to both grow as a result of it. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out, set up a consultation, send me a message in the DMs. I look forward to following up with you soon, and get ready for all kinds of great goodness that's coming down the pike. All right, take care, everyone, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.